Odd Job Media is a company that I started with my good friend Harley Roque. We were at a marketing firm for a number of years. It's one that I started with an old associate out of Bakersfield. We moved down to Long Beach. It was very much startup vibes. Odd Job as a character is kind of a fixer guy. He shows up and he gets things done. And that's what I wanted people to feel like when they hired us. I wanted them to feel like, I'm hiring Nick, he can do a little bit of everything, I'm gonna throw him at a problem and he's gonna get things done. First things first, we had to figure out what we were going to do differently than the people around us. We had already been in a marketing company, we kind of already knew the space from the marketing company aspect, but we really wanted to figure out, okay, how can we provide a greater amount of value to a particular type of customer. The customer we had identified was small businesses, specifically here in Tehachapi, but we branched out a lot. We did end up working in Lancaster as well. The other thing that we were doing was menu creation, not telling them what to create, but taking their menus and creating something a little more aesthetically pleasing, doing food shoots, doing, fun little things with toppings on pizzas or something along those lines. I think the lack of resources or the lack of community here is both a positive and a negative. It's a positive because it's a niche. You now no longer have a lot of competition in the space. The problem is that you now no longer have a lot of collaborators in the space. So a lot of what we do is really just, hey, what can I do to scrounge up whatever effect I'm trying to do? Hey, what is the cheapest way I can get, 3-point lighting on this meal and all of my equipment is out on a different shoot and there isn't another person in town who does what I do, so I can't rent that equipment from someone, Figuring out those kind of little shortcuts is maybe not the right word, but workarounds is a better word. Finding those little workarounds to be able to get the customer exactly what their vision is, while also not having the ability to pull out a full Hollywood set out of your garage. A lot of the budgeting constraints that we have are really, really more a function of how the economy does in a small town. Small towns usually only have one or two major businesses that really have a lot of extra money that gets put into an economy. For us, we have the prison is a big one, and the Air Force Base is another big one. There are smaller ones like the hospital and, the city, of course, employs a fair amount of people, as well as the cement factory. They're going to be around for a while. Okay, I want to do business with this business and say, hey, I'm able to come by once a month and charge you, $500, but maybe that might be too expensive for you. Well, let's work around that. You might not need content every month. Maybe you need it every quarter. So I'll come by once a quarter and I'll bill you 3 different times, which will add up to the $500, but it's a smoother transaction for your customer. When I founded Odd Job Media, I had been planning for this company for years. Really, my goal was to do what I love. I have gone to school for communications, for video production, and for economics. But really the thing that I love to do is video production. I was doing video production when I was in middle school. I was doing video production right out of college. It was the reason I took acting for the camera. It wasn't so that I could act on camera. It's so that I could be the guy behind the camera. I think really the most difficult part has been the sales. Being able to sell yourself and say, hey, I am capable, please hire me. That is really difficult. And it's really wound up in the fact that you are looking at your project and saying, oh, I really should change the timing on this. It should be a couple frames sooner. The customer doesn't see all of that. And it's the same thing in acting. The customer doesn't know if you've messed up your line, right? The audience doesn't know if you haven't done something perfectly. You know, because you know what it looks like in your head. What it looks like in their head is completely different. I think what sets Odd Job apart from all of the other media companies that are out there, and I'll even talk about the ones that are just in my area, they don't have Nick and Harley at them. That's kind of a big point. The gear barrier doesn't exist in the same way, and because of that, there are more people in the market that can replicate what you do. Being unique and having a very specific vision is more important now than at any other point. I think the future for Oddjob Media is bright. I am excited at the projects that we have in the works for 2025. Not all of them will reach maturation at the end of the year, but I'm pretty excited. We have some narrative that we want to work on. We have a little bit of documentary that we want to work on, and we even have an event that we're working on. Who knows how good that'll go, but I'm excited for it.